Number 1, faking smiles and pretending to be okay. How often do you think depression is diagnosed in people who don't appear to have it? Faking smiles and pretending to be okay is one of the habits that people with depression have. People who suffer from depression often work to conceal it. They'll feel like they're bringing others down if they let their inner struggles show on the outside. However, this forced happiness is very hard to maintain. Eventually, the underlying emotions that are being felt, such as sadness, hopelessness, or loneliness, will show through. Number 2, eating too much or not at all. Have you noticed yourself or someone else either eating too much or not at all? Extreme changes in eating patterns can suggest the presence of depression in someone. People with depression that eat too much are turning to food for comfort, while others lose their appetite because of a low mood. Whichever the case, depression will become more severe the longer that this habit persists. People's self-esteem will take a hit as well. Not eating enough will naturally result in lower energy levels too, contributing to more depression. Number 3, neglecting personal hygiene. Have you gradually become less interested in your personal hygiene? Neglecting personal hygiene is one of the signs that suggests someone is suffering from depression. A lot of people think that good personal hygiene is a given since it's part of one's daily routine. However, for people who suffer from depression, any of these so-called simple tasks might become a huge burden because of how depression affects people's energy levels and mood. They'll feel like these daily activities are simply too draining for them and not worth the effort. Again, depression will feed off the negative impact this habit results in and become more severe over time. Number 4, in need of constant distraction. When was the last time you spent time reflecting on your emotions? One of the habits of people who have depression is that they'll constantly try to have something distracting them. The main reason for this is that they don't like being alone with their negative thoughts. Some people may keep their TVs turned on, even when they're not watching anything. Others prefer to be on their phones or social media every time they're free. Don't get me wrong, doing these things does not automatically mean that you're depressed. However, doing these things with the sole purpose of avoiding negative thoughts can be a very telling sign. Number 5, always thinking of the worst case scenarios. Are you or any of your friends constantly thinking of the worst case scenarios? This habit can be a telling sign that someone is suffering from depression. Always thinking about the worst case scenarios is something that can be useful from time to time so that you can respond to anything that comes your way. However, constantly coming up with the most negative possible outcome will affect your overall perspective. This negative cycle of thought will continue to feed off of depression, making you feel even worse. And number 6, losing concentration and focus. Do you struggle with staying focused on work for long periods of time? Does someone you know constantly lose their train of thought during a conversation? Having the habit of constantly getting distracted and struggling to focus can be a sign of depression. Loss of memory and concentration are common symptoms of depression. A study conducted in 2014 showed that both of these will worsen the illness by making work and personal relationships more challenging. So, do you see any of these habits in yourself or those around you? It might be a good idea to try talking with someone who you trust and will emotionally support you. Similarly, if you notice a close friend or family member showing these signs, be there for them and offer your support. Of course, please consult a mental health professional if you or someone you know suffers from depression. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.